I think it would be around the importance of emotions and kind of the importance of falling in love. And I think this is sometimes romanticized or given a, I don't know, fluffiness to it, like it's not important. But I think falling in love is like a survival thing that's in us. And it's a really powerful mechanism. It overwhelms us. It can be really be a real struggle. So
why don't you introduce yourself? Just tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm James' husband. I'm CBT and EMDR therapist, and I help people with lots of different mental health difficulties, but my speciality is in trauma and PTSD. So I started doing Samaritans when I was at uni. I knew I wanted to go into therapy. I'd always been fascinated by psychology, and I think when I went to uni it was kind of filled all the missing parts in my life. I think I didn't really have a direction, a feeling of support at times, and I think when I went to uni I felt the real support and the lecturers were kind of guiding me, and so psychology became fascinating to me. I then knew I wanted to be a therapist. I didn't know what kind. Everyone just said psychologist, psychologist. That was what I was told. And then I just threw myself into the NHS. And yeah, I knew that if I tried really hard and I kept working, I'd fit into somewhere I was meant to be. And yeah, I did. So that's how I became a CBT and EMDR therapist.
Yeah. What is it that you enjoy most about being a therapist?
I think getting an understanding and then being able to guide people. I was always wanting to know why people acted certain ways, why I acted certain ways, and I loved science, so being able to kind of work out what people are going through in a really scientific way and get as much information as possible is really important, and then being able to guide people. And I think being able to kind of give that to people and just show them the way makes me feel, gives me a lot of meaning and fulfillment. So yeah, helping people, guiding people is probably what I get most from what I do.
If you could give one bit of mental health advice to the world, what would it be?
Tough question. I think it would be around the importance of emotions and kind of the importance of falling in love. And I think this is sometimes romanticized or given a, I don't know, fluffiness to it, like it's not important. But I think falling in love is like a survival thing that's in us. And it's a really powerful mechanism. It overwhelms us. It can be a real struggle. So I think education around the fact that love is something that's embedded in you. It's about attaching, it's about getting survival. It's everything at the root of who you are in your survival, not some romanticized thing. And I think if we could help people manage that, build good connections, you could help people a lot with heartbreak, save people from really tough situations and realize what's happening. So I'd like to give that message out.
What is the most important message that CBT gives us?
I think CBT is an amalgamation of so many different things now that CBT is, it's hard to say what CBT is on its own, but I think CBT gave us a mix of science, some of the best theorists, and it gave us the message that if you kind of summarize it all and give it some sense of structure, then you can get people to where they need to be, and that there is a structure there and a helpfulness to that.
What is the most important message that EMDR gives us?
EMDR, a bit of a fluke of nature how it came around. So it gives us the message that your brain can process things and sort itself out if given the right given the right way. So like all the mechanisms are there, it just needs to be given the right guidance. And that a lot of pain and turmoil needs a kind of processing that's deeper.
What has been one of the biggest challenges in your life?
I think probably why I gave the story about love is that I think I didn't realise the importance of that, and the importance of bonding with someone and having that vulnerability. And I think part of my therapeutic journey was healing from heartbreak and difficulty in that bond, and I didn't realise that, and I think that was very blinding for me, and at times a bit scary, but it brought me here, and it brought me to help others way more. If you went back kind of 8-9 years, I wouldn't be this person, and I think that journey and that battle to understand, to build on myself, meant that I could grow. So that was probably the biggest challenge in my life, but also the one where I learned the most and I grew the most, and now I feel able to help others and guide them through the same emotions and why they might be so unequipped to deal with love, relationships. So yeah, that was probably my biggest challenge.
And so with that, what was the most useful thing that you experienced to help you with that challenge?
I'm just going to say time, I think. Therapy a lot. Time. Just knowing that there wasn't just one answer, that some of it had to be experience and some learning. So I was always trying to learn my way out, think my way out. And then I realised I had to feel my way out and go on a journey. And so I guess it's that combination of thinking and feeling, and the importance of processing through emotion, through being in the moment, as well as being guided by some logic.
Who do you have as a role model in life?
I've had quite a few through life. I had a supervisor who got me through my course that I did kind of 6-7 years ago for CBT. They dropped everything and really engaged me in the right way and got me where I am today, and I just wouldn't know what I know now without them. And I think they were a really supportive figure, and so they were a role model, maybe not right now, but they were a core role model in my life. Role models now, I guess I have lots, but no one's really sticking out as an individual. I think I've maybe had few at different times in my life.
In your work, what do you find is normally the most common problem you come across?
Because some kind of trauma. I think it comes out in different ways, like depression, anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, things like that. But I think it's always some kind of trauma from childhood. Someone, I don't know, it's It's normally around some kind of feeling safe, vulnerable, feeling vulnerable in childhood in some way, and yeah, normally comes back to some kind of mistreatment or neglect, and a real sense of unsafety is very common.
A lot of people are struggling in today in finding meaning in life. What do you think is happening, and what can we do to help?
So, I know there's two sides to me. There's an academic answer, and there's who I am and what I think is meaning. The academic answer is that it's through experiential, through feeling, and through creation, and a sense of achievement and creation in life, and Viktor Frankl would say also how you deal with the worst moments. So when you can't get access to things, how you deal with suffering, and whether you keep your core values. For me personally, it would be the things that bring me joy and make me want to build the same things again tomorrow or in the future. So doing Tough Mudders, running through mud, being around family, yeah, racing around in my car a little bit, not like legal, but driving around and maybe going, through woodland and things like that. So those kind of things give me meaning.
So this channel was created by you in 2018?
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Okay.
So what was the catalyst for that? How did it come about?
So I was at university trying to learn all these different theories that were so hard, but I loved them because they were the ingredients of how to understand life, people, and all this science was in there, and years of creation, and people who spent their whole lives researching it and putting it into these models, and I just loved them, and I wanted to create them in a creative way. And I think I wanted to make the videos easy way to learn as well and help guide others. But then as soon as I got into that, I wanted to create more, and I wanted to see what I could create, and it just became more and more and built, and yeah, it's an expression of everything I find interesting, people I wanted to talk to anyway, and yeah, kind of a tribute to really powerful minds of people I've respected along my journey.